So yes, while Nintendo did confirm a successor to the Nintendo Switch will be announced sometime before March of next year, they didn't address what was my biggest concern. See, my original worry for this system was the backwards compatibility. Like, there is 140 million Nintendo Switches out there, more than that. And what are they going to do? How are they going to carry that library forward if they bought in like 30 games or so on it? Do they just have to keep their system? That was the biggest question on my mind at the time, but now there's a much bigger issue when I think about that. Do you know how much any company, it doesn't even have to be gaming, any company would kill for that many people in their marketplace, that many people to potentially sell to? We've literally seen some games on Nintendo Switch sell like 3 times the amount that PlayStation things do, even though it's a game from ages ago. Somehow the Nintendo is doing that, and that's because the Switch has like 10 million short of the 2 highest sold consoles of all time. This is important. Is it practical to believe that Nintendo would just simply cut ties with the Switch and move on to the next one? Do you see where I'm going with this? Yes, they are going to have transitional games. I don't see how they wouldn't. You know, Metroid Prime 4 was announced for the Switch in its first year, and we still haven't gotten it, and I'm imagining that's going to be a transitional cross-generation game. Maybe then even the next Mario title. Please, that's one too. And of course, Earthbound, right? Earthbound, right? And the prime example of this for the Switch was Breath of the Wild. That was a game that launched on the Wii U as its kind of final game, and for the Switch's first game. But there's a big difference between the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. For the Wii U, that had 13.5 million units sold. The Nintendo Switch has 10 times that amount. From the briefing that we learned that this successor to the Switch is coming, they even acknowledged, they have learned the importance of not only keeping physical sales, but digital sales as well. Like, the two together can make them tons of sales, and that is something that, again, 140 million people, do they just walk away from that? But what's the big deal? Like, what does it matter if they stuck with them or walk away? Game development. You have to consider this idea that these guys are going to have to develop for a system. Like, let's just say hypothetically, this is a family of systems. I personally find that very believable. Let me know if you disagree or agree with that. But I very much believe this idea of a family of systems. Very similar to how, Xbox is probably trying to do this series. Yeah. And imagine if, like, the Nintendo Switch is baby brother, big brother is Super Nintendo Switch, something like that. Who knows? Or the Switch Up. That's good. Anyways, and they have to develop for this other system that it's almost like comparing a PlayStation 3, and then this next system is going to be on the level, rumor has it, just a bit above a PS4 Pro. That's a big difference. Not to mention third-party developers might have to do the same. Maybe they'll have a bit more flexibility with that on where they release to, but I would imagine they'd still want to release on the Switch, which is their choice. Like, Call of Duty is a good example. Like, that is a game that made a 10-year contract to release their games day and date on Nintendo systems. Maybe that is only for the newest systems, but even so, like, it adds a whole new level to Switch speculation or the next Nintendo system speculation I just never even thought of. Are they going to do that? Are they going to make maybe all future Nintendo first-party games both for the Switch and the Super Switch? Let's just call it that for now. Is that what they're going to do? This would hurt the sales of this next system. I know that there's going to be me and maybe you, like the hardcore gaming community, that are going to get the system no matter what. Like, I love my OLED screen. It's a 1080p screen. Who knows? Like, there's going to be decisions, but a lot of the hardcore, we're going to get that system to play the Nintendo games the best way we can. But the masses, they're going to have to make a call. Do we want to sell more software or do we want to sell more hardware? This is big to me, guys. I do think it's a really realistic expectation to consider them just maybe the first year. The first year, it's not going to just be like a Breath of the Wild situation. It's going to be multiple games as they transition to this next system. Because again, 140 million people is hard to move on from. If it goes beyond that first year, like Xbox and PlayStation kind of did, then is that going to hold the developers back? It's going to certainly challenge them. There's no doubt about that. But even so, somehow Nintendo managed to do something that not even current gen PlayStation or Xbox have done yet, which is highlighted in this next video where you can let me know how will Nintendo handle their 140 million players? Like, how are they going to move on from that? Join the speculation in the comments and subscribe if you like topics like this.